Well, inside this edition of this Stay One Full Cats, issues surrounding culture and how we upkeep and maintain culture in Sierra Leone. And for that, the Friend Solar organization, now umbrella body, we comprises of all Kuranko organization inside the country. The organization set for all one big meeting, one of the annual general meeting will take place inside Bumbuna town and inside Tonkolili district from the 11th to the 13th of April 2025. Well, for talk on this important meeting and look at the organization itself, I get it to me Dr. Sheko Sise, the leader of the Friend Solar organization, Sierra Leone. Doc, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yes.
For accepting me.
Yes, you're welcome, sir. So, Doc, you have to give a background where Lead Folena set this organization.
Well, this organization actually encompasses all the various entities of the Kuranko tribe, Kuranko community, both Naya and in Guinea, and also in Mali. And for Sierra Leone, within Kwanadugu district, within Falaba district, within Chonkolili district. And in terms of chiefdoms, there were comprised 14 chiefdoms. In Guinea, we did in Farana, Bandankoro, Dugu, and Mali, of course, that they will all come out, that the old Mande Empire. So this now, Peninsular, as such, this now just to give you a small historical background. And Peninsular always done day. We left Mande in the big migration after Sunjata Keita, when the son of Mansa Musa, the famous Mansa Musa, and we moved, come down to Sierra Leone through Guinea, and our movement from Guinea is like 15 days work. And we occupy essentially northeastern Sierra Leone. And of course, we can do small bit to areas like present-day the Khalifa Chiefdom at the north. And also we go beyond that small bit. But essentially, we did na Kono, Sando Chiefdom, a large part of it, na Kuranko Zendede from Masofinia, going up. And then the other chiefdoms here, so I don't tell you. Of course, like every community in Sierra Leone, we all in at the western area. But for the moment, with greatest concentration, na Wilberforce, Waterloo, and Benguema area.
It's very important. Most people, tend for, back in the days, tend to identify the Krankos. Most often, associate them with divinity. Or, when, like, going to this, become a soldier is one of the key areas, most people can identify Kranko. When you see soldier man, automatically, you say these are Krankos. And but over there has a change. Is it that the culture of the tribe seems for wipe out?
Well, even in colonial days, the British will colonize Winaya, then see in the Kuranko a lot of military potential. And they recruit a lot of people them, both for the First World War, Second World War, and even me with the talk now, my daddy and I former soldier in the colonial army in those days. And it is because of our loyalty and we abilities in the military field. Because Peninsula, when we left Monday, was like the Kuranko under mobilization. And as I've been telling you, the big march of 15 days, this is not just any other ordinary worker. This is not like the march with military people and they do. And from Guinea to Sierra Leone, we took us 15 days of serious marching under the command of warrior hunters, warrior kings like Masakama. We came right down to the Tonkolili areas. So, in fact, this has been a tradition. And during we last visit to Echi, which was the courtesy call, I mentioned to him that the Kurankos have had the privilege of providing 3 eminent leaders who don't lead with armed forces, especially in the army. And he himself acknowledged that while instead of being at the army, he knows that the Kuranko, their military prowess, their loyalty, and their commitment to national service.
Very important. And which of the cultures, we probably you think say most well, we in generation we seem not for the follow back there with me the happen cable for identify the can cause and now as we speak.
Well, we culture, fortunately, every culture they change. Every culture is a dynamic institution, but the level of change they vary from one community to the other. With the Kuranko community, one of the greatest cultures or traditions the world don't maintain is respect for our leaders, respect for our paramount chiefs. And when we say Peninsula, Peninsula is actually owned by the paramount chiefs. They're not in charge of Peninsula. You cannot really separate Peninsula from the paramount chiefs. There's this respect for elders, respect for authority. Now, one of the abiding principles of Peninsula, and also respect for human rights. I don't think many people know about this because the colonizers who can Africa, Sierra Leone, they write the history of Africa from the point of view of conquerors. They don't write the history as the people they want for as I be. That is why if you look at the Mande Empire, the real history of the Mande Empire, human rights, the conceptualization of human rights was first established under the reign of Mansa Sunjata, called Kuranko Pusa. That is, it was built on top of a big meeting in which human rights, the rights of strangers, the rights of women, the rights of individuals were all established in oral history. And if you look at the history of, say, in Guinea, or perhaps the archives of Senegal, you'll find lots of things about this particular aspect of the Mande, the Kurankos. When I say Mande, not just Kuranko, there are many other tribes or communities that come from Mande, eminent ones being the Madinga tribe themselves. You get the Yalonkas, you get the Sosos, we are all from Mande, So these are some of the culture. Then our music, our oral traditions. We have oral tradition of the Finabas. The Finabas are people who tell our history, and we give them a lot of respect because in the past, Madinga Kuranko society, Migrated society was segmented. Everybody had his own role to play. And Finabas had a very important role to play. And then you had the artists, the musicians. For example, for people who might want to reflect, Salif Keita is from Mande, and most people here know about him. It's one of the traditions of Mande in terms of songs, in terms of history, because if you listen to his music, it is not just music for music's sake, it tells a story of old Mande. And that's the same thing you'll find with the Kurankos. We have a long time ago, in the 40s, maybe in the 50s, as I was able to find out, we had a kora player called Nyankume. And Nyankume told the history of the Kurankos through his kora music. So these are some of the traditions that sort of identify us as a people. Yeah.
All right, it's very important, and as well, also, like you mentioned, the culture, and also look at how most people can identify the Kurankos. But look at the contribution of the organization itself. How it not only contributes to national development in our own little corner.
Well, first of all, the modern Ferensola is essentially a development organization. We have had people who have contributed to the development of our country. If you take people like Masakama that I have mentioned, you take Alhaji Magba Kamara, who was the founder essentially of the Sierra Leone Ex-Servicemen Association, but again a former soldier, the Kuranko. You have people like Major General Traoré. You have lots and lots of Kurankos in that tradition who have contributed a lot to the development of Sierra Leone. In fact, what we are going to do as part of our development, we're going to try to write our history, writing the story of Ferensola. And it's one of our projects. And when we write this book, you will tell, the contributions of Kurankos in the development of Sierra Leone. And since we are going to coordinate with our brothers in Guinea, we will look at the Kuranko community in its entity, in its entirety, both in Guinea and in Sierra Leone. And even in the field of politics, we have played our role, both in Guinea and here. I don't want to go too far into that because Ferensola is a non-political organization.
Okay.
This is very important to us because it is like an umbrella organization that embraces all the Kuranko community of whatever shape or form of political colorization that you have. But when you talk about Ferensola, we are non-political.
The Ferensola organization is quite very big because a body that deals with all organizations belongs to the Kurankos. It's very key. And earlier you talk about the key identity of the Kurankos is respect. And it's clear in this generation that key among the things we lost is respect for elder, respect for society, respect for culture, respect for even the nation. But I want to hope for embark on such awareness raising for people to understand that you cannot move forward without respect, whether it's national issues, elders, and what have you.
Well, yes, respect for yourself in the first instance, and then for your neighbors, because you don't live as an isolate. No one is an island. So we interact with many people, and the same respect we have for ourselves is the same respect we have for other communities. That is why we are very peaceful people, we're a very peaceful community. And this is the same thing we're trying to inculcate with our younger people who today, indeed, they are of the 21st century, no doubt about it. But we're trying through Ferensola to, like the meeting we're going to hold in Bunguna, we're going to have an opportunity to tell them how they can be proud of being Kurankos, how they can join to showcase the Kuranko community, and how they can contribute to the development of our country, both in terms of the community and the nation. Because you cannot develop, again, as a small entity, you have to develop within the bigger whole. That is why we always work with governments in terms of development, so that the development of the nation, we make sure that it touches the Kuranko people, and we go with that kind of development, you know. Because indeed, over the past, many other communities have developed more than us, and we're trying to catch up. And that is one of the reasons why Ferensola has also been established, to allow the Kuranko community to catch up with other communities in terms of development, in terms of education, in terms of all other aspects you can put under development. Our second important project is to make a foundation, to create a fund that will help the Kuranko girl access college education. Because our boys so far have done well on their own. I mean, if you take me as a Kuranko, I got my first honors degree in Durham in 1964, and I got my PhD in 1967. And I'm not just alone in that area. There are many other people, Sokago and others, Karfala Mara. These are all Kurankos that have made their mark in the academic field. But the women, they're not so many. And we want to create an opportunity to push the women also to move in terms of tertiary education. Tertiary education in the broadest sense of the word, not just getting a college education, but also in fields like nursing, in fields like IT, in fields like mechanics, you know. We're trying to do that kind of thing for the women as well, as has happened with the men.
And it's very important, and that will take us to the big meeting itself, the annual general meeting. You already don't begin brief. I'll get for look like and waiting at some of the conversation will get for happen there as well. But away from that, with some of the highlights we don't give with regards to the meeting, how important it be, and added to what you say, what else get for add part what you talk just now about sensitization, education, about the Kuranko culture, and also some of the legacies, of people we don't do so much, but these are Kurankos as well.
Well, thank you very much for that, because in fact, just this morning, I was discussing with the Ferensola in Guinea. They are going to send a fairly big delegation to attend this meeting, and we are going to compare notes with them in terms of development, But the meeting itself, we're going to showcase Kuranko culture. We're going to have all the 14 Kuranko paramount chiefs in Sierra Leone to be there, and they are going to walk through the days so that our invited guests will see the aura, the beauty, the culture, and the magnanimity of Kuranko leadership. Paramount chiefs with the tradition of chieftaincy, which is very, very important to us. When the British came, they diminished the meaning of Mansa to chief. But in reality, Mansa is king. So we want them to see that. And also there will be the women. the women are going to be given a prominent position in this meeting to showcase what the Kuranko women have done and are doing for themselves. And then you have the youths. We're going to have the youths. In fact, there was a big youth meeting in McKinney, and the youths are going to come to Peninsula. They're going to tell us what their aspirations are, what they're trying to get in Sierra Leone. They're looking at their life. What is it going to be? And we, the elders, we are going to listen and try to create a symbiotic relationship between we, the older generation, and the younger generation, because at some point, we have to hand over to them. It is generational. I am taking over from people who are older than myself, and then I will also have to hand over to the younger ones. So it's going to be a learning process of what leadership is in Kuranko, especially leadership that is devoid of partisanship, a leadership that looks at the entirety, the wholeness of Kuranko here in Sierra Leone and in Guinea.
Okay, so how you the meeting up for bringing the collaboration between the one with the Guinea and Mali and Sierra Leone as well?
Well, fortunately, we speak the same language, so we don't get language barrier at all. And even if they decide for talk their official language, as we said, go talk beyond official language, some of us are bilingual.
Yeah.
We speak both French and English, so not get the problem. But we got to try very hard to avoid using a foreign language, because their own leadership, where they come, Alhaji Mamadi Mansare, is very fluent in Kuranko. I am not so fluent, but I can hold my own in the language. And there are many others who are also very capable. All our paramount chiefs speak fluent Kuranko. This is one of the things we also want to make the young people, know that in addition to learning English, in addition to having a full knowledge of our lingua franca, which is Creole, which is very wonderful, which makes everybody you able to go anywhere in Sierra Leone. Once you talk Creole, you're all right, because there must be a Creole speaker anywhere. In addition to that, we want them to also have a working knowledge, even if it's just a working knowledge of Kuranko. And this is what we are going to try to let them realize and to be proud of it. Like I speak Kuranko, I speak Timni, I speak Creole, not too well, but I speak Creole, I speak English and French, So we want to make sure that our people, especially the younger generation, who risk losing this language ability, encourage them not to lose the language ability, because it has advantages. When I go to the village, my village is about 310 miles from Freetown. I don't go there and speak English. I speak with my people in Kuranko. And it makes me feel at home, and they realize that yes, their son, their father, their uncle, their grandfather, that is in my category now, and I've come and I am together with them.
And that is good, I just want to get your opinion, and with your vast experience and your time being on the planet Earth, and there is this guy, he's a very young guy, Abdullahi Sako, and he's actually, I'm sure he's also a Kuranko, and he's the flag bearer, or leader and chairman for the RFP party. He actually gets a vision saying...
Party, sorry?
No, the RFP party. And but away from that is actually heading a movement for push for we local language them for the national language in Sierra Leone. Like for example, if you're not Kuranko or if you're not Mende, you're not Timili, there should be a conversation wherein everybody can get conversation in a different language them, and then we will forget Sierra Leone going, like the role of parliament, wherein if you represent district from the north, west, south, east, if you're able to talk your language, you represent the people in form. Like if you talk Kuranko, you represent part of Tonkolili, Kabbalah, you know, na can call you for talk because are the people you represent, and majority of the people are not to English and they na can call and they understand. So, but I will for gets that kind, you know, awareness raising, like you mentioned, say part of the meeting now for educate the young one them for understand, say it's high time, you know, then self feel belonging to the culture, then tribe, able for talk Kuranko.
Yes, it's a good idea. I know. I lived in Kenya a little bit for like 10 years. I was working there, 11 years. I visited South Africa. In South Africa, the official languages, there are many. I think you're talking about official languages.
Yes, yes.
Then get Tosa, then get Zulu, Bemba. Then they use them, then they carry on. For a country where we're not too plenty, me go say, this is my own personal opinion, me go say that we already did try at the schools where they teach the languages. And I think for expand that curriculum there and get a lot of the Sierra Leone languages taught in the schools, even the smaller ones or the languages where people do not know. Let them try for teach them in school. Like we go very happy as Kurankos if Kuranko is in the curriculum, you know, like Creole is. I don't know, I think Mende or Chimney, but what I know for sure is that Creole in our curriculum, which is an excellent idea.
Yeah.
But I think not that no more really I get competence for talk about that in the curriculum in our education, we for try expand the languages, our local languages in the curriculum so that people will get the chance for doing. We don't want to crowd the curriculum also with too many languages, but I am sure people that way the curriculum development, like the President, Chief Minister, I think they know a lot about them things. They must find a way of integrating this kind of thing without sacrificing, you know, things like science, etc., mathematics, etc., you know, geography, you know.
Okay, and this is great. Doc, as we try for close, what thing we message and probably want for Rieko, the time again for the meeting and also will take place?
Well, the meeting this month, April 11, that's a Friday, 12, Saturday, and 13 is a Sunday in Bunguna, which is near Magbroka. You can access Bunguna from Magbroka through Mabonto to Bunguna, about 30 miles from Magbroka, or you can access her from Binkolo. It's about the same distance, also in the Soboya Chiefdom. We want for we guest them, we honored guests them where we don't invite, including His Excellency the President, President Dr. Julius Madabio, with some key people them, some ambassadors them, for if they get chance, for make them come, can see what we they try for do. Because as I said before, and I'll for say again, we want for work with governments for the development of the community. We don't left behind, but we want for kind of accelerate the pace of our development. So we must try to find a way and advocacy, you know, in which government will give some consideration to this thing. And above all, and I want to say this with every humility, is that the Kurankos are contributing a lot to the GDP of Sierra Leone. If you take a gold mining in Sierra Leone, from colonial days, gold has been mined in our area, from Dalakuru, and today gold is mined in 3 chiefdoms, Dian, Samaya, Bondigu, and Dansogoya. If you talk about iron ore, a lot of the iron ore that is exported from Sierra Leone comes from Kuranko country, Dansogoya and Samaya Bendugu. And we want people to also know that when you see a ship from Pepel carrying iron ore, I want when you come to Gunguna, let you say, yes, that ship was see the go so, na Gunguna, Kuranko country, na this iron ore come out. Now this would contribute to the development of Sierra Leone. And we want in return, but now we also get good returns, like good roads, like education, like employment, And this is one of the things that we really want for go showcase, for let people then see what we they try for do, how we want for do within Sierra Leone, and let them also know, say, we are part and parcel of this country. Because yesterday I did at SLBC, and somebody really don't know, say, Kuranko them plenty. So I've been getting the opportunity for tell them, say, yes, we plenty, and I show them who's we did, not just in Sierra Leone, but in Guinea. Thank you.
All right. Well, Doc, thank you very much and for being part of the show. And the Fair and Solar organization, they host the annual general meeting from the 11th to the 13th, right?
Yes, April.
Yeah, April. So that is, yes, so it's next week. I think next week, right?
No, next week.
Yes. Next week from the 11th to the 13th. This year, inside Tonkolili district, Bumbuna town to be precise. And like what Doc don't say, don't give the location and how you for go there and all of that. So it means all the Kuranko tribes can get for the day.
Yes.
And also from Guinea and representative from Guinea and also Mali, get for the parts of farm. No, I said also representative from Mali, get for camp.
Yes, yeah, well, we're not too sure whether they, but we know definitely
Guinea.
that Guinea, then they come because they're in contact with them already. Even this morning we talked, then they try for camp, and then they use a simple road, then they come through Falaba district, they come through Falaba town itself, then come Sinkunia, come Kabala, come Makeni. Then now they take that long route through Conakry. We're very, very close. Like from me home place, Usade, for go Guinea, it's very short. Now only 34 kilometers by road.
Yeah.
It's even shorter than for go Kabbalah.
All right, Doc, thank you very much for wishing all the best.
Thank you.
In this great annual general meeting by the Fair and Solar organization. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much.
And he is Dr. You welcome, sir. Sheku Sise, the leader of Fair and Solar organization, and then they host the annual general meeting. We will commence next week from the 11th to the 13th of April 2025. Now, Bumbuna Town, Tonkolili District. Thank you very much again, Doc, for being part of the program.
Thank you, sir. Thank
All
you
right.